Hi guys, how are you? Hope you all are doing good. Today I'm going to show you how to play the Danish Gambit. So we start off with e4 and black responds with e5 and we play d4 and then black responds with captures and we do c3, black captures, we do bishop c4 and black captures and we finally capture. And now they can do knight to f6. We do this, they do this. Now we check, and now blacks will do c6 most of the time. And if he does that, we capture the knight, they capture, and then we can capture this pawn. And they have to move their rook or the bishop. So they'll move their rook, and we can get the bishop. And now we're winning by 3.8%. So now we can do bishop knight to e2 or knight to f3 or knight to d2 or knight to c3. So we can do knight to f3 and now they can do knight to c6. Black responds with knight c6 and now we castle and now black will usually play bishop g4. Then we can do knight to d2 and black responds with queen d7 trying to castle. And now we can do rook e1 check and they have to move or block with the knight. And if they block with the knight, we can attack the rook and they attack back on us. And now we can do bishop to f6 attacking the knight. And now they have to defend the knight somehow. So they can do bishop to e6, blocking the rook attacking. So now we can do knight to d4 or g5. So knight to d4, and now if black does a lazy move like knight to c6, we can capture this bishop and they capture with the pawn. And now we have a plus 4.5 advantage. And now we can play rook to c1. And now they can do queen to f7 and attacking our bishop. So we have to save our bishop. So we'll do bishop to e5. And now they can do queen to g6, planning to a mating thread. So we have to stop that. And so that we can do pawn g3, bishop g3 or yeah. So pawn g3 and now they can attack the bishop but we're defending it so they can challenge a queen. Then we should let them trade and now they can capture a bishop. So now we can do f4 doing a nice pawn structure and now if they capture we capture back with a rook and if they capture with a queen we can do rook captures queen. Okay, so we can also do bishop We can also do bishop to c7. And now if they attack, then we can go to f4 or e5. So if we go to e5, if they take, we take. And now what if they retreat the queen to g7? Then we can play queen to e2, defending a rook and threatening this pawn. So they're going to develop this rook to e8. And now we can play queen captures b5. And now they can attack a rook. And then we can do rook, rook to e3. And now they can attack our queen because they're annoyed of our queen in their base. So we can do queen to b6. And now they have to move it backwards. So they can do d7 or e7. If they do d7, we can do c7, and their only choice is to do rook d8. And now it's a mate in 2. By rook here, king has no move, so they have to block it with the queen. And now a checkmate. So if they go to e7, we do rook c7. They can do king f8, and now it's a mate in 2 again. So then we can do rook f3. They have to block it, and now we can capture, and it's a mate. And now they could have played king to f6, and now it's 11. It's at 10 moves checkmate. So now we can do rook and queen to d4, and when the king if the king moves to g5, we can capture the queen, and they capture, and we capture, and now they can, if they go to h5, then it's a mate in 1. If they go to f5, it's a mate in 1 still, by rook to e5, and this, and now they take, and now we do this, and now they can play knight to c6, or they can play captures, and then it's our turn. So we develop our bishop, and now they can play knight to c6. Then we can recapture this pawn, and now if they play knight to f6, then we can give them the pawn, and if they take, then we take, so it's defended. So they won't do that. So now we can do knight to f3 or knight to e2. We can do knight to f3. They do knight to g4, attacking us, but we just casual. And then they do bishop to d4, attacking the f2 pawn. But it's already defended 2 times. And if they take, so we do a move. And now if they take, we take, they take. we take, and now they still have only one more extra. And now we're plus 2.1 advantage. So we can play They can castle, and we can play knight to b5. If they took queen to e8, we can take the pawn and fork them. And now we plus a 3-point advantage. So if they take, they're attacking us, but we can take this knight. If they take, and now we have to save this bishop to b3 or bishop to b5. So we can do bishop to b3. They can attack our knight, and then we can play queen to d3, and now they'll capture the knight. And now we can play knight to h5, threatening a checkmate. If they do some move, it's a mate and it's not a mate, but still we're winning so much. And now we can check, and now white is clearly winning. So if they do a move like queen to b8, then it's a mate in one. And they do this, and now we can do. Now they can play king to f8. We check them. They do attacking our queen, so we can plan a discover check. And now they can go back to f8. If they do that, then we can do queen to f4. And if they do a move like rook to d8, then we can just do queen to f7. If they do pawn to f6, we can do queen. We can play queen to d6, and now they have to block it with a rook or the queen or the knight. So if they block it with a rook, we can attack the rook, and now they attack our queen. If they attack our queen, then we can do queen to c5, queen to c5, and if they capture a knight, we capture their rook, they capture, and now we shouldn't do that because we're lost in material. So now we can do queen to d5, and now they can play rook, captures rook, and then we can do queen to f7. So that's how you play the Danish Gambit. Thank you, please subscribe.